There's a peninsula on Dublin side where it's very well. There's the food market, the fish market, and fish restaurants where you can enjoy a very good fish kitchen. And a few years ago, I was there with walking around with co-workers of mine. One of them is next week in our show, and it was nice to stay around, walking around there, up hills, down hills. It's a nice place to walk around for a short trip, walking around. The hotel is nice. Yeah, Michael, the next question I have always is second home you will be. Where would be? There, I see always Spain as my first home. I lived there for the last 20 years. I moved for business reasons to Portugal and now to Dublin, to Ireland. I think, for me, first place situation is always my home place, is Spain, Alfa Stepi, like they say, Suc Alfacino. And I see any other places than as my second home base. Either if it's Germany or Portugal or Dublin. So in the moment, my second home is Dublin. What is a temptation for you? Oh, that's easy. Chocolate. Chocolate is one of my temptations, and television. I like when I have my late days off. I work the whole day on the computer, and speaking with people. So my favorite is when I have sweet tooth and I have something sweet with me and a bit Netflix or something, and then watching films and enjoy the day and doing nothing. That's my temptation. What is there something that say about you, or is there a story your family tells about you? Oh yeah, my family have a nice story about me in my lifetime. I have a favorite. My favorite one was when I was recently remembered, and I will remember her. That from a wellness coach in Accenture. That when I was there 4 years old, I lived in Menorca. And one day I visited with my grandma Palma de Mallorca. I was 4 years old. We take the ferry over to Palma. We visit Mallorca and Palma de Mallorca, the capital. And we stepped into the cathedral of Palma de Mallorca. And we, of course, my family is Protestant, and my previous family members are Catholic, so didn't know really procedure what you do and what you don't do. But we walked in, we crossed because there's a Catholic church, and we were kneeled down for praying as well. And my grandma said, "Pray for your family." And I said, "Okay, please, dear God, protect my dad, my mom, my grandma, my grandpas." And I made a whole list up of people, till my last uncle and my grandfather and whatever. A whole list, my sister, anyone. And excepting one person, me. I left out me. And my grandma turned over and gave me a shake on the shoulder and said, "And what's about you? You forgot yourself." And I when I was 4 years old, I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "God keeps eye on anyone else, and I take care of myself." So that's for 4 years. My father loved my grandfather was there too in that time, and he loved it too. He said, "That's a guy with a nice male instinct." Yeah, Michael, you can always recommend here 3 books for our listeners. Yeah, I have 2 books. This is one, Angels Ángeles y Demonios, Angel and Demons, from the same author as damn it. Oh, sorry. Now I forgot the name. Everybody knows it. That's one of my favorite books. I bought it out of boring. I was at Grenada, and it was night, and I had nothing to read, and started reading it, and I read it the whole night. And the second book is from Mario Puzo, Omerta. That's a nice book as well. It's like studying. You're expecting now some philosophic, or yeah. Then my favorite is Machiavelli, Il Principe, the Principe, because you can learn a lot of. The people most likely misunderstood Machiavelli when they use it. Oh, that's a Machiavellic way to think something or to say something, and they're misunderstood. He was in his time. He said in the Principle, the matters or the ways how it was be and what you really should do in your times as member of the court or in principle. It doesn't mean that you have to kill anyone else. He was absolutely misunderstood there. What you should do the best of yourself, but if you have to, for example, he said, you have to be nice, friendly, keep your word, be trustful and anything, but you must be able to be the totally opposite. And that's what he means. You must be a good princip, taking care of your people, but if needed, you have to be the opposite of it. And I think that most people misunderstood him in his times. In our times today, when we're saying, "Oh, that's Machiavellico," or they totally misunderstand the book because they say it's a book to gain power and keep the power on all good on will. That's not that way. That's then they didn't understood it very well. What would you like to have now earlier? Oh. Yeah, I'm very, I'm a good, we are speaking openly for anyone else to know me and today. So my internal problem was always that I tried to please anyone else. And I would love to know that earlier, that you cannot please anyone else. You cannot please all of the people. And I learned it over the last few years, step by step, more or less. And I'm still doing it and try to please anyone, being happy with anyone, and to be nice with anyone. And I find out over the last years that you cannot be that kind of person, that you cannot please anyone. All, because then you mess it up even more, and then everybody hates you. So I would learn that earlier and learn earlier, studying hard. Then you would learn more. Should tell that for the kids are with us. If you could change with someone else, who would be? Oh yeah, that's easy. I love Spain, absolutely, my absolutely loved area. So I would love to change with the president of Spain. I always tell my wife that I have good ideas about Catalonia and how you make this or how you make that. I have always the best ideas. I think surely, when you step outside the office, you want to change with, then surely it's easier to say the points from outside. When you step inside the office, maybe it's totally different. So I can always say only I would do that or do that when I stood outside, when I would be the president of Spain. But I would love to be the president, only to screw it up. Was there the best time of your life? The best time of my life. This is always a good question. I don't know if he is listening. Kai. Hello, Kai. Very good friend of mine now in Hamburg sitting. We both had in Portugal our best times, I think, and enjoyed our life there. Working on hard on one side, but on the other side, we enjoyed our lives. We didn't wasn't there only for work, so we worked. We didn't like the Germans like to live for working. We worked for living, not taking serious my responsibilities for my family, but still loved. We watched the football games. We were did stuff, and that was one of my best times. Hopefully, he's listen. Hi Kai, greetings to Hamburg. Hopefully, Hamburg HSV goes up in the Bundesliga again. He is a poor guy. He's a fan of Hamburg HSV, German football club. How does someone makes you laugh when you're laughing about this? Oh yeah, yes, we quiet is a bit difficult. The most people would say, "Now tell me a good joke." The problem is, my aunt, as an example, gave me one book with 1001 jokes in relationship to Shehrazade's 1001 stories, and I learned it all the book completely in 2 days, 1100 jokes, and I have a huge nice memory for jokes. So the problem is, you're telling me a good joke, yeah, I can laugh with that if I don't know it. If I know it, I get only bored. Or I want to jump in and tell the joke, especially when they take long. Also, good situation comic. I like when we are speaking about something and someone use a joke with not insulting someone else. Saying something funny, then I like to laugh with my friends. Okay. How do you win a discussion or fight? Yeah, that's as always the problem. I don't like very much to discuss with any other, because I think I tell anyone I have thought anything through, so there's not really a discussion. I'm a very authority in this. I'm trying to see any points from any sides, any angle from any sides. So I already thought through a lot of positions from the other side. So to win from my side, a fight is not discussion is not really difficult, because I had thought all this through. From the other side against me is a bit difficult, because I most likely thought already what you thought. So there is the difficulty for me. And then when someone is not on my side, the discussion, then I thought in the past they're not very clever, or they haven't thought it through yet. Please follow my instruction, because I'm right. And that was not a nice way. Today I try more patient. I get older now. I get more patient, and I try with a good concept to get people over and explain my thoughts to them. And sometimes they follow my lead. How do someone become a good date? Oh, good date for me, yeah. That's not possible. I'm married with a lovely woman, Maite. She won me over when we was in a wedding from a colleague of mine, or co-worker of us, better said. And since then we are together, and I don't think so I would date someone else. If you try to date me, then you have to be nice. I'm a typical lion. From the star signal I'm lean, so the typical, tending his egoism and tending his self-esteem, and then you will always be his loved one. Kiss his ring, more or less, kiss his hand, like the Italian would say, and you're always on my side. And then, yeah, that's a nice way. And with food, when you're nice now to cook, perfectly. I love to eat. Otherwise, but even then, I'm married and I'm happily married, so there's no good chance to date me.